Now we will start with the irreversible cell first. In the previous lecture I have shown you the differences between the reversible cell and the irreversible cell. Now the first primitive cell that was designed by Alessandro Volta nearly about 200 years ago is the simple voltaic cell. Now he used a copper rod, a zinc rod, and he partially dipped these two electrodes in brine solution, that is concentrated NaCl solution. Now what will happen when we use these rods in brine solution? We will come to it later on, but presently we will use the modified form of the voltaic cell that was also designed by Alessandro Volta, which is more realistic than this one. So he took a vessel and he put dilute H2SO4 into it. So dilute sulfuric acid is taken by Alessandro Volta, and he used a zinc rod, a zinc plate which served as the anode, and a copper rod partially dipped within this electrolytic solution. Now when it is connected externally, deflection is seen. This is the key. Now when an ammeter is connected in the circuit and when the key is on, that is the external circuit is switched on, we see there is a deflection in the ammeter. So what is happening here? This is the zinc rod and this is the copper rod. I have already told you that anode is that electrode where oxidation occurs, and you know that zinc is more electropositive than copper. So the anode reaction will be like Zn arrow Zn2 plus 2 electron. So this is the solid one and this is in aqueous solution. So zinc atom will lose electron and it will leave the electrons in this rod, and it will pass into the solution in the form of Zn2 plus ion. So this is the oxidation part. Now this electron will travel through the external circuit and we will see deflection, or if we have a tiny bulb that is able to lit up in small voltage, then we will see that current is actually passing. Electron will pass in this direction and we will have current to pass in this direction. This is the convention of flow of current. Now what cathode will experience? There will be reduction at cathode. So cathode is that electrode where reduction will occur. Now this electron will reach in this electrode, copper electrode, and here we will have zinc atom, zinc 2 plus will come into the solution, and the H plus ions, that is the protons present in the solution, will come in contact with the copper electrode, and these electrons are coming here. So H plus will take up the electrons and it will give you, so this is H plus and it is solvated, so it will take up the electrons and reduction will occur. So there will be release of hydrogen gas at the cathode. We will get bubbles. We will see bubbles coming out from this cathode. So what is the cell reaction? This is the anode reaction and this is the cathode reaction. And since in anode oxidation occurs, we can claim that it is the oxidation half reaction and it is the reduction half reaction. Now when we add these two, we will get the complete cell reaction. So the cell reaction is, it will be like Zn plus 2H plus arrow Zn2 plus H2. H2 will leave the system, will be liberated at the cathode. So this is the cell reaction obtained when we have current in the external circuit. Now let us check whether it is reversible or irreversible. So to check whether it is reversible or irreversible, I have told you in lecture 2 that the system must follow 3 criteria. Now we have to apply an opposing potential here. So we are connecting it to an external DC direct current source. So this is an external power source. It is direct current. So we have to connect it to another galvanic cell or a battery, or may we have an converter and connect it to the alternating current so that it gets converted to DC. Now when this voltage is greater than this one, when the potential of the DC is greater than this one, let us see what will happen. Then this external power supply will force the electron to come here, since the tendency of this electrode is to release electron is greater than this one. So electron will be absorbed in the zinc electrode. So electron will come in this direction and it will come to this electrode. So what will happen? Then the cathode reaction will be (2H plus 2 electron arrow H2). So now since electron is entering in the zinc electrode, the protons which are in close contact with this rod will accept the electrons and hydrogen will be liberated at the cathode, but it is the anode when it was acting as the galvanic cell. So we have hydrogen liberation at the zinc electrode instead of the copper electrode. And since the positive terminal is connected to this copper electrode, what it will do? This potential will extract electron from this electrode. So we will have the release of copper atoms in the form of copper 2+. So copper atoms will pass into the solution in the form of copper 2+, and it will leave the electrons within this electrode and it will be extracted by this external power source. So the anode reaction, that is the oxidation reaction, will be Cu arrow Cu2 plus 2 electron. So the cell reaction, it is no more a galvanic cell, it is acting like an electrolytic cell, since this external power source is applying more potential and it is opposing. It is applying opposing and excess potential than this galvanic cell. So the flow of current will be reversed and electrolysis will start. So the cell reaction is Cu plus 2H plus arrow Cu2 plus H2. Now compare the two reactions. Is the reaction reversed? I have told you in lecture 2 that the condition of a reversible cell is that when we apply an opposing potential which is greater than the potential of the galvanic cell, the reaction must be reversed. But see, this is a different reaction. So different reaction is occurring in this cell when we apply this external power source. So it is not a reversible cell, it is an irreversible cell. So the simple voltaic cell designed by Alessandro Volta is an example of irreversible cell. Now come to the limitation of this voltaic cell. It is simple. Why it is termed as the simple or primitive? Because it has a severe limitation, not because it is not reversible, it is irreversible, not because it is irreversible. We are telling it as the simple voltaic cell or the primitive voltaic cell not because of its nature that it is irreversible. Even nowadays, when we buy a pencil battery which is not rechargeable, it costs you around rupees 5 or rupees 7, and you put it into clocks or remote, and after the function is over you throw it. So that are also example of irreversible cell, but those cells are not primitive. This is primitive because it has one thing is that it was designed for the first time. It was designed at the early stage of the discovery of galvanic cell, and the main thing is that it has a very crucial or a severe limitation. The limitation is that whether the external circuit is switched on or off, whatever it is either switched on or switched off, the reaction will continue. Since zinc and H2SO4 when in direct contact will give this reaction. You have all studied the preparation of the synthesis of hydrogen gas in laboratory. What have you used during the preparation of hydrogen? You have taken commercially available zinc granules and you have added to that granules dilute H2SO4. So whenever zinc comes in contact with dilute H2SO4, it gives you this ZnSO4 plus H2. Since electropositivity of zinc is greater than proton, so it will transfer the electron. It is 0 here, it is plus 1 here, so there will be electron transfer from zinc to hydrogen, and it will be 2 plus, and we will get hydrogen gas, and it will get liberated. Now you see zinc is in contact with dilute H2SO4, so what will happen? Reaction will continue. So we will have the liberation of hydrogen gas at anode only when the external circuit is switched off, and when the external circuit is connected, we will find the liberation of hydrogen both at the anode and at the cathode. So it will destroy by itself. The reaction will come to an end when either of zinc or dilute H2SO4 becomes a limiting reagent. So you see, it has a severe limitation that you cannot control you cannot have the entire chemical energy to get converted into electrical energy, since the spontaneous reaction continues whenever there is a contact. So when the circuit is switched on, you will have hydrogen evolution both at the cathode and at the anode, and even when the circuit is not switched on, that is it is in off condition, then also zinc will react with H2SO4 to give hydrogen, so there will be hydrogen liberation at this zinc electrode, but not here. You will get hydrogen liberation at the copper electrode only when the circuit is switched on. So this is a major limitation. So to stop the reaction, you have no alternative. Only alternative is that you have to disconnect this zinc and H2SO4 solution. You cannot keep these two in close contact. So it is a simple voltaic cell, and it has a severe limitation and it has actually no application. Now we have to remove such limitation and we have to make a sophisticated cell that will give you maximum amount of electrical energy from the chemical energy so that it is cost effective. So that is an example of a reversible cell. We will discuss it in lecture 4, that is the Daniell cell. It is very important and I will discuss it separately in lecture 4. Stay with me.